Hey YouTube, Kira Twig here, bringing you all an update to my Prank Kid Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile for September 2019. A few of you have been asking for an update to the Prank Kids deck. It's actually been a few months since the last update to the deck. We received some new support. I believe it was in one of the special editions a while back with Prank Kid Roxy's. I haven't really gotten anything new for the deck, but I definitely gotta say I would love if we get a Prank Kids Link 1. I think it would just make the deck explode just because you'd have so much consistency with the monsters. If we do ever get a Prank Kids Link 1, I'll definitely be excited and definitely might bring the deck up a few tiers as well. But until then, make and do with what we have, and with the more recent ban list as well, fully updated. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So to start off, for the monsters, I run 3 Prank Kid Lampsies. For those of you that aren't familiar with the Prank Kids, they all have different special summon and other effects depending on if you use them for a fusion or a link summon of a Prank Kids monster. So with Lampsies, not Lamsies. If this card is sent to the graveyard as material for the fusion or link summon of a Prank Kid monster, you can inflict 500 damage to your opponent. Then you can special summon 1 Prank Kids monster from your hand or deck in defense, except for Prank Kids Lampsies. You can only use this effect of Lampsies once per turn. So you have that consistency for the burn, but the most important part is obviously the special summon of another Prank Kids monster. You just want to make use of all 4 of the different Prank Kids special summons and other additional effects each turn, depending on what kind of summons you like to go for. I also run 3 Prank Kid Dropsies, having the same effect with the sending for a fusion or a link summon, except with Dropsies, you gain 1,000 life instead of burning your opponent for 500, and then you also get to special summon 1 Prank Kids monster from your hand or deck in defense, except for Dropsies. And you can only use the effect of Dropsies again once per turn. But it's also a life point gain, which that few life can definitely come in handy when you're going up against your opponent, just to keep your life high as well, and then burn them down with Lampsy. And I also run, probably one of the best, is Prank Kid Fansies. If this card is sent to the graveyard as material for the fusion or link summon of a Prank Kids monster, you can send 1 Prank Kids card from your deck to the graveyard, except Prank Kids Fansies. Then you can special summon 1 Prank Kids monster from your hand or deck in defense, except for Fansies, and you can only use this effect of Fansies once per turn. So with this, you have the option to send any Prank Kids cards from your deck to the graveyard. So even spell or traps become accessible because the Prank Kids Link monsters let you add them back to your hand to reuse, which is very, very important, being able to grab those cards, like I said, to reuse again on the field. So having Fansies for that setup in the graveyard, either just, to set up other additional monsters to use, or just to get your spell and traps for that consistent search, it definitely does come in handy for sure. And lastly, for the Prank Kids monsters, I run 3 Prank Kid Roxy's. If it's sent to the graveyard for the fusion or link of a Prank Kids monster, you can banish 1 card from your hand. If you do, draw 1 card, and then you can special summon 1 Prank Kids monster from your hand or deck in defense, except for Roxy's, and once again, only having that effect once per turn. The discard draw, if you have some dead hand cards, like additional Prank Kid monsters, like let's say you have another Roxy's in your hand that you can't make use of because it's a once per turn effect, you can always just banish it and get the draw and hope to get something a little better with that, and then the additional special summon as well. They all work very, very well together. If we ever get a light and dark along with the Link 1 Prank Kids monster, it'll definitely be an improvement for the deck. Just can't wait to see what they would do if we do get those cards. And then just for a little added support, I run 3 Ash Blossom and Joy Spring. Just very helpful going up against your opponent, especially when they go first, being able to shut down their search plays and whatnot. And the same goes for their monster effects. That's why I'm running 3 Effect Veiler as well. You don't really have that big of a monster count, and you really want to just stick to the Prank Kids cards for your monsters. But having the Ash Blossoms and the Effect Veilers as added support definitely does come in handy. Like I said, just being able to shut down your opponent and their plays. And that is it for the monsters. We'll now move on to the spells. I run 3 Prank Kids Place. When this card is activated, you can add 1 Prank Kids monster from your deck to your hand. And once per turn, if you fusion summon a Prank Kid fusion monster, except during the damage step, you can have all monsters you control gain 500 attack, even if this card leaves the field. And if you link summon, you can make all your opponent's monsters lose 500 attack, even if this card leaves the field. And you can only activate 1 Prank Kids Place per turn. So the once per turn for each of the gain and loss definitely does help when you need to get over some pesky monsters on your opponent's side of the field. But having the search, just because we run so few Prank Kids, monsters, having this option basically counts it as an additional monster, so you can search the one you need if you have another additional ones in your hand as well to go for. It definitely does help because the fusion play helps to set up your link plays, which then helps to recycle other cards into your hand to reuse, just to keep the plays going. But having the search with place definitely does help. And I also run the 1 terraforming, now 1 on the July 2019 ban list, just to help with searching out these cards even better. I used to run the 2, obviously, but we had to go with the 1 for now, which did hurt the deck a bit, but the search is still very, very viable. And I also run 3 Prank Kids Pandemonium. This quick play fusion spell. During your main phase, fusion summon 1 Prank Kids fusion monster from your extra deck, using monsters from your hand or field as fusion material, and for the rest of this turn after this effect resolves, you cannot normal or special summon monsters except Prank Kids monsters. But it doesn't really limit you with this deck. And it says during the main phase, you can even do it on your opponent's turn with cards in your hand or on the field, and then get the additional special summons or burn, life gain, you name it, of all the different Prank Kids you may use for the plays. Definitely helpful and great that it is also a quick play spell. And I'm also running 2 Prank Kids Pranks. Decided to run 2 of this. It's searchable when you can send with Fancy and then just recycle it with cards like Doodle Doo. So just with that, you discard 1 Prank Kids card to special summon 1 Prank Kids token onto the field. It cannot be tributed. During your end phase, you can target 3 Prank Kid cards in your graveyard except Prank Kids Pranks. Shuffle all 3 into the deck, then draw 1 card. You can only use each effect of Prank Kids Pranks once per turn. You have recycle consistency with this card. You also have the options just to get that token, which if you don't have the fusion play, but you have Prank Kids Pranks, you have the option to then normal summon one of the Prank Kids, get the token, and then go for the link play right then and there, which can help because Doodle Doo helps to search for the spells and traps for your Prank Kids deck, so having more access to the search as well. But the recycle keeps your Prank Kids monsters going also, so you can always have cards to use for your plays as well. And then for a little more added fusion consistency, I run 3 Polymerization along with the Prank Kids Pandemonium. I like running this card because this one also doesn't limit you with your special summons like Pandemonium does. So if you want to go for some other cards in your extra deck, like say some of the Nightmare Engine, this card definitely does help for just that fusion consistency because it makes a lot of your plays if you can't go for the Link summon. And being able to then fusion them, and like I said, special summon them back with cards like Prank Kids Rocket Ride, definitely is what makes your plays in the deck. But just for a little more added monster support with Prank Kids Place, giving us the search and Prank Kids Place, searching your cards. And Prank Kids Pranks, I think I mixed up the cards. They sound very similar. Search and Special Summon, I run 3 Instant Fusion. This one just helps to give you the additional fusion monsters we run in the extra deck, which obviously gives you the extra monster to use since it counts as a fusion summon. Just for the 1,000 life, I definitely say it's worth it. We don't really use life for anything else in this deck. In anything with Dropsies, you gain the life, so you really aren't wasting too much with the investment in Instant Fusion. But this additional monster goes back to my logic with Prank Kids Prank, giving you what you need for your plays to go through. And I'm also running 2 Pot of Desires. You run plenty of 3-ofs in the deck, so anything you banish with Desires just is, worth the risk if it means you get to draw 2 of something you can need, benefiting you with more cards in your hand, obviously, as well. So very, very nice to rely on this card as well. And I also run 3 Call by the Grave. We run plenty of hand traps in the deck, but our opponent can also run them and stop a lot of our plays, which, Effect Veiler or just Ghost Ogre, definitely. So this card helps to take care of that issue when going up against your opponent. And lastly, for the spells, I run 1 Monster Reborn, just giving you options to summon back some of your Prank Kid Link monsters to the field. Adjusting your arrows and giving you more and more access to extra deck monsters is my one reason why I do like this card. Or if you just need that additional Prank Kid in your graveyard back onto the field because you're 1 card short for the Link or Fusion. And then, also, for the traps, the only trap I'm running is Prank Kids Plan. I like to send this card with Fansies to the graveyard because then you can set it up for your opponent's loss by shuffling back Prank Kids cards into the deck. So once you recycle all your cards and also make your opponent's monster lose attack, it definitely does come in handy, putting them on their toes and making them work around this card in the graveyard as well. And that is it for the main deck. Moving on to the extra deck, I run 2 Prank Kids Rocket Ride. With this one, if this card is fusion summoned, you can have this card lose 1,000 attack this turn, but it can attack directly this turn. And you contribute this card, then target 2 Prank Kids non-fusion monsters with different names in your graveyard, special summon them, but they cannot attack this turn. And you can only activate each effect of Prank Kids Rocket Ride once per turn. But this tribute effect is what I love about it. It just gives you the option to get them back onto the field, which then you can use for either another fusion play or a link summon play for the easy tribute of this card. It's your setup. Let's say if you fusion summon with the cards in your hand, tributing the Rocket Ride puts them back onto the field to reuse as well. That's why I like it. It's set up on the field. And during your opponent's turn, Weather Wash has the same tribute for the special summon. It also makes them unable to be destroyed by battle when you do so. So just having this option during your opponent's turn, I like to leave this fusion on the field during my opponent's turn and then leave Rocket Ride to the plays on my turn. And for one of the more boss monsters, I run 1 Prank Kids Battle Butler. With this one, you need Lampsies, Dropsies, and Fansies to make this. And also, if this card is in your possession, is sent to the graveyard by your opponent's card, you can target 1 non-fusion monster in your graveyard and special summon it. And you contribute this card to destroy all monsters your opponent controls. So this one destroys the monsters, while the Link 4 destroys their spell and traps. So having both options available to you to clear their board definitely does scare them when you do get these cards out. I also run 2 Doodle Doo. With this one, Prank Kid, when it's link summoned, you can add 1 Prank Kid spell or trap from your deck to your hand, and you contribute this card to target 2 Prank Kids cards with different names in your graveyard except for link monsters and add them to your hand. So like I said with Fansies, being able to search with Fansies and then send it to the graveyard gives you search options to add it back to your hand with Doodle Doo, letting you add any of the Prank Kids cards you run aside from the link monsters. And I made the biggest mistake. I actually run 3 Doodle Doo. I don't know how I missed it. I think I got it mixed in with Bow Wow Bark, but I definitely do run 3 of it just because it's so good with the search. It's got great arrows as well and works very, very well with the Prank Kids Bow Wow Bark. Bow Wow Bark gives 1,000 attack to whatever it points to, having the same add back effect, but also then letting your Prank Kids on the field be able to be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. With Weather Wash is a big help for protection against your opponent. And 1 of the Prank Kids Rip Roarin' Roaster. This one is for destroying your opponent's spell traps with the quick effect, and then also giving you the add to hand of 1 of your Prank Kids in your graveyard, except like when it is sent. So another powerhouse, being 3,000 attack. It must be link summoned, so you can't special summon it back otherwise, and you need the Prank Kids to make it, but definitely very, very helpful when you do. And then for more generic links, I run 1 Link Reba with Fansies, good link 1 to go for sure. 1 Nightmare Cerberus, 1 Nightmare Unicorn, and 1 Nightmare Phoenix to finish off the extra deck. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Until next time, if you have any other recommendations, I'm definitely taking them for deck profiles. So anything else you want to see, comment down below. But until then, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And Kira Twig out.